Well, today I'm pimping up my station. Yes, I'm going to actually add some little photos here. These are actually from films from the 80s, like Top Gun and Rocky and St. Elmo's Fire, Jaws. Some of them you'll recognise. Rather than just leaving the station or the columns of the station that I'm actually going to have to support the roof very plain, now I've actually painted them up like into a grey colour that will actually look like a concrete post, right? But I'm going to actually add these transfers on. So that one there, if you may remember, is from the film Top Gun, Crocodile Dundee, and that is Pulp Fiction. So probably quite a few of them you recognise. So I'm going to go around the column and actually put them on like as advertising billboards at different heights. Now the way I'm going to do this is actually to use some PVA. Now this is PVA with water, so it's a very light solution that I can actually just take a brush and just paint it on, and then just stick these on exactly where I want them. Obviously taking into account they shouldn't be too high, because the actual figures themselves, if I take this as a column and that as the figure, is probably, if I can get that level, probably about 2 centimeters in height. So at eye height, if he's going to be looking at this billboard here or this advert for Rocky, for example, it needs to be roughly about there. So there's no use in it being up here, because that's probably, I would say in real terms, about a 30-meter column if it was in real life, this distance here. So where an average person is probably about 1.7, 1.8 meters. So these 2 centimeters here, I'd probably tend to put the billboard about there. I'm going to try and put it on all sides. So I'm going to have one, if I can grab one, say for example, there, that side, one on the other side and the back. So all 4 sides at that height of the column. So when people walk past, they can actually see the various different films like Ghostbusters here advertised on the various different pillars that I actually have dotted around the station. So as I said, a really simple way of doing this. So I'm going to try and do one live on camera. So get rid of those. The way I tend to want to do this is to actually use some very light PVA. This is probably a 50-50 mix with PVA and water. You see it's very, very light. And really just put some of this on the area, not too much, there's probably a little bit too much, where the transfer is going to be, and then just add the transfer at the desired place. And then really to seal it, probably just want to go over it with some PVA. This again is actually just normal paper. It's not any special card or anything like that. And if you want to, you can actually put it at an angle. So like the person that has put it on, for example, has posted it at a funny angle like that, or you can actually just put it nice and straight. So that one, you can see the PVA as well that's soaking into the paper. Now obviously that's going to take time to dry as well, and it's going to take a bit of time because it is paper to dry. Oops. And that's really how I would do it. It just go round the column now and actually just get some of that excess glue off and just go around put a transfer on, once you're happy with where it should be, on each side of the column. So one on each side. So another one now will go in. Probably put a little bit too much on that last one. So what we're going to have next, let's grab that one. Ghostbusters. Everybody remembers Ghostbusters from the 80s. Transfer that on. And a little dab of PVA on the top, just to seal that off. And that's it. So that's what it's going to look like, obviously, on each side. And obviously when this PVA dries, it'll have that sealed in and it'll look really good. So if you want to do something like this, what I'll suggest you do is go online and find some posters from the era that you're trying to model. Now, in my case, it's from the 70s and 80s. A lot of these film posters here, like Grease, St. Elmo's Fire there, and Good Morning Vietnam, are around the sort of 80s. Arthur as well. And you're going to find these online that you can actually, royalty free, just actually print off. And then if you bring them down to scale, like as I said, so this poster here of Arthur and the model of the man is about the same height. But when it's actually on the actual column itself, so if that's the column, if I can get that to stand up. So that's the column, don't fall down. And if you can imagine in the station, someone's walking along, if I can get him to stand up. Obviously these really need to be glued. There you go. So you see the relation there to the height of how well I put the actual poster to the actual height of the scale model of the man there. Excuse me. So bearing in mind, as I say, you don't really want to be putting it all the way up the top there, because it won't really be in an eye shot of the individual walking along in the model world. So I'm going to get on now and put all of these on the four sides of that central pillar that's going to be holding up my station roof, and also going to get these ones done as well. Now, as I said, if you do want to do this, the best thing to do is actually see what size you're working with initially. Now, in my case here, I was actually working with approximately 15 millimeters, which I think is about 1.5 centimeters. And then I just scaled each of these posters down to that size. Originally, they were a lot bigger. And if I want to use them maybe on a full-size billboard and not just a poster size, I can actually then scale them up accordingly. But, you know, it's a good way of actually taking some blandness off of the inside of a station, you know, just with a little bit of advertising. Because I remember the days when I used to go to train stations, or even the London Underground, for example, that was just covered with billboards and advertising of all different things, whether it be for a new film or a theatre play. So again, think about what era you're modelling, what you want to put on these inside of these columns or billboards or whatever you want to actually use, and then find a poster that is relative to that era. And if it's a film that everybody will recognise, like these here, for example, Grease, St. Elmo's Fire, and Pretty in Pink, you know, these are classic films from the 80s, as is that one, which was also remade, Top Gun. The first is always the best, and Ghostbusters. But there we go. So I will get on and do this now, and once it's all done, I'll put a picture right at the end. Don't forget to like, subscribe and share. If you do like this and you think it's a good idea, or if you've got any comments, please put them below. Bye for now. So now that I've actually completed the posters on the columns on these sides that you're going to sit. So this is the actual main beam column that would actually hold up the roof of the station. So as you see there, I've actually put a couple of posters there. And obviously make sure they're the right height as well, because you won't see this side. It will only, because this is going to go against the wall, you're only going to see that side. I've also decided to pimp up my bus shelters as well. You see there's a couple of posters there on the inside there of the bus shelter, and obviously that's the the shelter. It's like a bus shelter though, and you've got a guy here obviously looking at the poster thinking, well, maybe that could be a movie I can take her to later. And then you've got a couple of more posters here on that side and on the inside as well. So the shelters obviously really do look good when they're pimped up in terms of the actual posters, because they go really well. They're the right height, they're the right size, and I think that they come off looking quite good. So I've actually only put them on one side because these are going to go against, there will be a station line coming in this side and also this side. So I'm going to put some others on the backs of these as well. So for example, at the moment it's white. So I'm going to print out some more and put it on the other side. So then people that are coming in on the station from here, they can see it this side, and people that are coming on the station this side, they can see that as well. So I thought I'd let you have a look at that. I think that's turned out quite well. So got a few more to print off. Now, as I say, put them on the opposite side. But I think it looks really good. And I think it's going to look really good on the layout as well.